Peace and love. How are you? I hope all is well. I wanted to come on today and do a self-care reading using our herbal allies. And so let's get started. The deck I'll be using today is one that's new on this channel for me, the Herbal Astrology Oracle, which is phenomenal, by Adriana Ayales. I highly recommend this this deck. I haven't had a chance to really go through the guidebook, so a lot of the herbs, not a lot, but some of the herbs are unfamiliar to me, but I still think this deck has a beautiful energy. Spirit, what messages do you have for us as we head into the new year? When we're thinking about self-care, we're thinking about healing our minds, our bodies, working on our spirits, grounding deeper into our spiritual life, moving forward in our purpose. And even while doing this, the health of the body, the health of the mind. What should we be focusing on at this time? Optimal healing, bringing in that energy of self-care and self-love. Thank you, angels. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Most High. Let's see. Passion flower is asking us to surrender. And I use passion flower in my tea blends. I make tea, and passion flower is good for rest and relaxation and sleep. So some of us need to sleep more. We need to rest our minds and our bodies. Angels trumpet death. So Spirit is saying surrender to the death or surrender to the end of something. Could be something physical. Could be a way of life, a way of thinking, a way of living, a way of imagining ourselves, all those things. St. John's wort, radiance. St. John's wort for me also deals with the mind and having that clarity of the mind. I love the way the way it moves here, because we have the passion flower, which is also an energy of stillness here with surrender, as she's here giving offering to the earth with the water. She's holding it up towards the moon, giving thanks and honoring. Her ancestors are behind her with the spirit guides, with the owls. She's working with nighttime energy. So some of us need to be alert, not alert in that way, but spiritually aware at night as we're receiving messages. Some of us need to work on giving offerings at night as well. Some of us can ground ourselves, or we can ground ourselves in our spiritual work at night with a cup of tea with passion flower. The passion flower, the way it looks on this card too, the petals are opening up. And so it's the idea at night where we're closing our minds, so we're going to sleep. But with the passion flower, with the flower that bud, that clarity that comes in with the color, the sharpness of the white, but then also the opening of the buds, saying that that's when you're open to information at night. That's when your mind is ready to receive those messages. She has the passion flower open on her head, and then she has the spirit guides above it with the owls. You see them in the background there? They're speaking to her. So some of us can communicate in dream state, and some of us can just communicate when it's still at night and when it's dark and when those spiritual energies have more comfort moving about. The angel's trumpet here. Spirit is saying it's time to let go. It's time to let go to obviously negative things from the past. But I'm just looking at the card here. And there's a small chest at the bottom with a clear quartz, which is purification for me. And it's a feather. To me, the feather is angel energy or guide energy. Purification with that. So we're purifying ourselves through this death process. So it could be the death of something physical. Some of us are moving into new careers. Some of us are moving into new ways of being. But ultimately it's saying surrender to the idea that things will end. And that's a natural part of life. Some of us are tasked with working with our ancestors at night as well, because we have the surrender, we have the death card, which makes me think about ancestral energies. We have a bat here at the bottom too, which brings up the ideas of something being feared here. So it could be spiritual work that you're called to do. And you're asked to surrender to it. The ancestors is saying the ancestors can teach you how to heal your body, how to heal yourself, how to heal your mind. If you open yourself up to communications with them here. Not being to not be afraid to communicate and to listen to those messages. That's a form of self-care. Following your spiritual insights, living the spiritual life that you're called to live, whatever it is for you, that's a form of self-care. Anytime that you're operating and living in a way that's truthful and honest to you, anytime that you're able to walk with that particular type of power, that's self-care. It's saying that your radiance is in this energy. Your radiance is in this energy of rest and ending, and rest and ending. Resting, knowing that things will end. Resting, knowing that things end and they begin again here with this radiance card. Being comfortable with the cycles of endings and beginnings. Understanding the importance of the cycle of the ending and the beginning. Being powerful enough to go through those cycles without fear. Trusting yourself as you move through those cycles too. Trusting your strength. On the bottom we have intuition with the blue lotus. And then we also have, similar to that passion flower, we have that lotus opening up there. That cup just pouring over with that spiritual energy, that energy of love. From your ancestors, from your guides, from the Most High, however you look at it, from Mother Earth, Mother River. But you have the clarity. That's the self-care for you. The self-care is to nourish the mind. I think about Blue Lotus. I know a lot of it can be used in teas, and maybe people can use it for ceremonial, smoking ceremonially as well. I don't know, but I know I have a tea blend when I use it, and it's good for ritual. Sorry about my voice, but I'm still healing my voice right now. It's good for ritual, but it's also good to go into these certain relaxed states. Not necessarily deep enough to maybe get us in a trance state in a tea, but in a seriously relaxed state where we can open ourselves up to spiritual communication. It's a beautiful herb, beautiful flower, wonderful tea. That's the self-care. Using your intuition, using your gifts, resting your mind, pulling yourself away. Here we have the death card. Pulling yourself away from things that hinder you from being able to surrender. From being able to, keeping you from being able to go into these periods of rest and calming the mind and accessing your intuition. That's the self-care. That's the death that needs to happen. If it's heavy, it's wrong. If it's confusing, it's wrong. And not saying that these things don't happen, because we have those moments where we don't have clarity over everything. That's true. But if it's constant confusion, it's wrong. If it's constant heaviness, I'm talking about the energies in your life. If it's constant heaviness, it's wrong. There should be a lightness in the mind, in the spirit. That's what spiritual energies are. It's lifting out of the heaviness of life and moving into a light body energy. The way of the world keeps us down and kind of holds on to us. It's the Eight of Swords energy or Ten of Wands, where we're burdened with things that aren't necessarily important to our spiritual or soul development, right? But the world has laid it on our shoulders. Because why? Because society says that that's what we have to do. This is what we need. This is what we have to do. And the more we let society or we let the world put those things on us, the heavier our lives become. When our lives are heavy, meaning they're energetically heavy, then it's harder to access our intuition. We're not able to surrender. Surrendering is not easy. This is a powerful energy. This is an energy that even with me, with meditation and spiritual working, this is something that I struggle with. This is one of those lifetime lessons. This could be why we're here, depending upon you and your story. This could be one of the things that your ancestors had to deal with, And so surrendering is a powerful energy. It seems like it's not much because you're just going with the flow and you're allowing things to happen. You're allowing things to reveal themselves. But it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of belief in the self. It takes a lot of belief in your spiritual purpose. It takes a lot of belief in those who love you in the spiritual realm to surrender properly. It takes a lot of belief in your mission. This is interesting to me too. We have the Four of Earth, which is willow. This to me, see those willow branches? This to me gives me, it's taken time. This basket is crafted with patience, time, honoring the tradition of the process, honoring the materials that are being used as we give thanks to the tree, honoring the ancestor that maybe made this basket beforehand and holding on to that, but weaving in and out those endings and beginnings, weaving in and out of them naturally, smoothly, patiently, taking our time with it in order to create a firm art piece, because obviously we don't want to rush the basket making process. We want to make sure that each reed or piece of straw or whatever you would call it would be, wound through the basket perfectly so it would be a tight fit. So this is kind of like in life, taking our time, making sure that we're using the right materials, giving thanks for the materials that we do have, using what's at hand, right? Making the best of what we have at hand, honoring ourselves, and pulling on that knowledge from the ones from before us, our ancestors, and how were they able to get through certain things? How are they able to go through these endings and beginnings? How are they able to transition into new periods of their lives? And maybe they weren't, maybe they had a difficult time with it. And maybe that's what we're working on. Maybe that's what you're working on. Oats, the madre of water. Creating that self-care. Creating artistry, whatever it is for you. And then having those moments of being at peace here. She's just drinking a nice cup of tea, staring outside and having a moment of clarity. The Madre of Water is just the Mother of Cups. And so obviously she's the most intuitive in the deck when it comes to the emotional body. And so we're pulling on that energy. She says you need to slow down. That's what I get from this. The Four of Earth traditionally deals with the foundation. People, some readers say, oh, it's, somebody being stingy with resources. It's not that. It's about being powerful with the resource that you have and using them to create and build a firm foundation. So it's the idea that we can be spiritually strong, we can be financially strong with the Four of Pentacles as much as we can be with the 10, right? It's a card of abundance. It's not abundance necessarily overflowing, and that's the energy of the Four of Pentacles. It's not overflowing, but it's abundance of peace, knowing that you're safe. It's the energy of safety. And so Spirit is saying that in this period you're surrendering, you're moving through the death process, which will move you into this period of radiance, and you'll be able to run free. I'll show you this card. But in this period of the surrender, you're creating and you're building the foundation that's not quick. It's a slow process because of basket weaving. But it's ever so important to take your time with it because you're going to make sure it's unbreakable. Also, too, with the Four of Earth and this willow, it's the energy of the wood itself being pliable, being flexible. And so Spirit is saying surrender. Surrender to the pulling of the reed or the pulling of the willow. Surrender to the shaping. The shaping. You're being shaped, right? You're being molded into form. Life does this, but Spirit does this to us, right? It's a spiritual happening. You're being molded into form. And so we give thanks. And the bending process and the molding process can be painful. That's what I'm hearing. And so, even though it's difficult, we give thanks for it, right? That's something I've had to learn. And that's something I'm still learning. Thank you, Most High, for the healing. Thank you, Most High, for bending me, for showing me what I can do. Thank you for showing me how flexible I can be. These are prayers and these are things that we don't think to say. These are things that we don't think to give thanks for. But if we didn't give thanks for these things, we would crumble into a ball, right? Because we wouldn't think they were important. We would think that we were just going through punishment. And sometimes it's not punishment, it's healing, it's growth, it's necessary. And so the willow is bending and molding you into this. Spirit is saying that even in this position, you have to surrender as you're being created. As you're being created spiritually, you are tasked with creating what you have right here and right now. That's healing. That's the self-care. This radiance card, being free. In the background, that house is just burning up in the background. That's that death process. Letting it go, whatever it may be. It could be a job, could be a relationship, could be a way of being, a way of life. Letting it go, setting it aflame. I think I did a reading on that a couple of months ago. One of the bird readings. Go back and watch it. Setting it aflame, starting new, ready to plant new seeds here. This woman in this card, she's allowing her intuition, her body, her mind to guide the way, and she's not stopping. So Spirit is saying that we're surrendering now. There's no movement in this particular process, at least not in this card with this lady here. But that we will get to this point where we're able to move with strength, move with power, move with great speed. Right now, though, for the self-care of the mind, to open up your intuition, to open up those spiritual channels, to allow yourself to be moved and created and molded spiritually. Slow down. Give thanks for it, right? And then the Madre of Water is saying, relax yourself. Drink a cup of tea. Look out the window. Go outside for a walk. Look up at the clouds. Look at the trees. She has natural things on her windowsill. If you have natural things in your home, look at your crystals. I have crystals. You know I love crystals. I talk about it a lot on this channel. Look at your seashells. Go to the beach if you can. Go to the forest. Pick up a pine cone. Talk to a bird. You know what I'm saying? Whatever floats your boat. These are things that I enjoy, right? Put your fingertips in the river, If you can't get to the river, just turn on the radio or turn on the sound and hear the sounds of the ocean. Sit with yourself for a bit. Let's do one more from the Soul Flower Plant Spirit Oracle by Lisa Estabrook. I've used this before. I'll show it to you really quickly. And see. Light a candle. Sometimes the small things will turn it around for you. Get yourself a cup of tea. Light a candle. Sit with yourself for a minute. Create something, big or small. Make something for yourself. Make a good salad. Okay? Put some beautiful tomatoes in it. Make it colorful. Give thanks that these things were created for us. All right, let's see. What message do you have? The Black-Eyed Susan. Recognition. Sometimes it's easier to bury hurt feelings and difficult emotions. Black-Eyed Susan gently helps you to wake up and recognize all aspects of yourself, even those you deem ugly or unworthy. Even your deepest, darkest truths need to be shown the light of love and honored as part of your human experience. All right. Spirit is saying that we honor ourselves no matter what. We don't stay there, though. We don't stay in those dark places. We come on out of them. We love ourselves. We're patient with ourselves. We surrender to life. We allow things to end. We don't hold on to them if they're meant to float away or fall out of our fingertips. We let them go with love and with light. We recognize who we are. That's what I get more from this than anything. Spirit is saying recognize who you are. Recognize that you are a bright, vibrant, spiritual being. The same color here, that yellow, with that radiance card with St. John's wort and the yellow petals here. Recognize that you have the energy and the power of the sun, right? Recognize that you're able to step into a room and you're able to light it up. Right? That could be one of your gifts. You have to rest your mind and rest your body. Take care of yourself, too. Recognize that you deserve to be loved. You deserve to love yourself fully, but you also deserve to be loved by others. You deserve to be in loving environments. If you're not in those loving environments, then we put them to the end with the angel's trumpet. Rosemary in the bottom says you have clarity. I'm not going to read it, but we already know you have clarity. At least you're working towards it here because we have the blue lotus with the intuition. Spiritual clarity. Nothing more powerful than that. Right? All right. Until next time. Peace.